So now we're going to look at how does a part-part whole mat turn into a strip diagram, and how can kindergarten and first grade teachers really support the complex problem solving that happens in upper grades. Starting with kindergarten, we have a part-part whole mat here that shows two different parts from this problem. At the park, there are 4 white dogs and 5 yellow dogs playing. How many dogs are at the park? As you can see, the parts are here. They're not only labeled with just the number, but also with part of the context. Even the picture shows that the context is different from each part. These represent 4 white dogs. We could expect students to write all the way out white dogs, but we know that this is a kindergartner. So even a W or a little small drawing of a dog's face would also suffice to show context. If you'll also notice, we're representing these numbers as we draw them in a 10 frame. So even whenever the 10 frame is not there, we can still draw it like there is so that we can notice just like that, we know that that's 5. And we don't have to start back at 1 to count how many are here. In first grade, this is where that you'll really see how that relationship piece is really visible. Sometimes whenever we read problems as teachers, we automatically tell students if it is a subtraction problem or an addition problem, or we want them to be able to choose exactly one right answer. But using a part-part whole mat is awesome because it shows them that there are lots of different ways to solve problems, and they can choose the one that makes sense to them. So in this problem, at the party, there were 15 friends. Some were in the pool swimming, and 4 were eating cake. How many friends were swimming? We have the 15 friends labeled up here and drawn like a 10 frame in sets of 5. We also have the 4 friends that are eating cake, and it's labeled here with the noun and with the number, and then we don't know how many friends are in the pool. If you'll notice, the relationship in this is going to tell me I'm visualizing 15 friends, but then 4 of them are eating cake. So they could use this to help them solve by just Xing out 4 from up here and knowing that the rest are in this part that are swimming in the pool. They also could go ahead and use this 4, and they could count on up to 15 to find this missing part. That strategy wouldn't be as efficient, but we need to let students figure out how to see those relationships and that there are multiple ways to solve, not just one way. Another instance in first grade is going to be a part whole. So we need students to be able to represent problems this way as well. At the party, there are 4 white party hats, 3 pink party hats, and 5 yellow party hats. How many hats were at the party? So we have all 3 parts here represented. We have the 4 white hats labeled with a W, the 3 pink hats labeled with a P, and the 5 yellow hats labeled with a Y. We also have them drawn here to where that it would be really easy to just look at these, and we could easily break apart and decompose this 4 to make 8 plus 2 would be 10 and have 2 more. So it really helps to bring the problem alive and to be able to see what's happening. And I can easily visualize up here that I have a big stack of hats that have white, pink, and yellow hats. This makes students pause and think about what is the problem actually about. When we get to second grade, it's a really big jump in a lot of different ways. So in second grade, they have to add and subtract up to 1,000, but it also has multi-step problems. So in this problem, there at the library, there are 500 total books. There were 243 realistic fiction books, 199 expository books, and the rest were poetry. How many books were poetry? So in this problem, you'll see that we have our total of 500 books, and we have our 3 parts here with our realistic fiction, expository, and poetry. This is really helpful to see that I could solve it a couple of different ways. So as the teacher, I might go ahead and think, oh, I need to add these up and then subtract from 500. But as a student, I might see it a different way. I might want to subtract 500 from 243, and then from that difference, subtract 199, which would then give me that poetry. I also could add these two up and then count on or use an open number line to help me find that missing part up to 500. This just opens up all the possibilities of how to solve this problem. Now, in third grade, addition and subtraction still stays with multi-step problems up to 1,000, but it adds in some different aspects of representing problems, one of those being the strip diagram. So if you'll see, I'll actually put these side by side, and you can see that they're very similar, but with the strip diagram, these lines that separate the parts fluctuate to show the value of the number. So over here, these are all equal, but really 243 is almost half of 500. And then we have almost 200 more here. So we would be able to very quickly reason about the size of my answer, which will help me to know if my answer is reasonable. And then in fourth grade, we move on to adding in decimals. For this problem, Sadie bought some games on her phone. One was $4.99. The other one was on sale for $7.88. She had to pay her mom back for them and gave her $20. How much change should her mother give her? So we can label this part. She gave her mom $20. She spent $4.99 on the first game, $7.88 on the second game, and then whatever's left goes back to Sadie. Now, if you notice, this is almost $5, so it's about 1/4 of this total. $7.88 is about $10, so it takes up a little bit more than that. 8 plus 5 is 13, so it's going to go a little bit over the half. So we automatically know this money back to Sadie is less than half of the total. So our answer has to be less than $10. That can also help with the placement of our decimal as we're solving. This is just such deeper levels of thinking in order to set up our students for success once they start to solve. I hope that through this learning you were able to really understand how that part whole mats support the development of strip diagrams and that number sense piece, the reading comprehension, the total understanding of relationships and flexibility that is embedded in this simple pictorial model that can really support student understanding and success. I hope you tune into the next one.